Okay, guys, we are going to make a jar opener, okay? I am going to put one piece of batting inside just because I want it to be just a little more substantial. I made one without the batting. Okay, so I'm going to put a piece of batting down, okay? Then I'm going to put a piece of cotton fabric. Then I'm going to put a piece of this rubber fabric. It's like the shelf liner, and that is what is actually going to be the gripper, okay? And then I'm going to put face down another piece of cotton fabric. So first I put the batting, then I put a piece of pretty fabric face up. Then I put the rubber fabric and another piece of fabric face down, okay? Right now, we're not sewing on the rubber part. We're actually sewing on the cloth part. So this part will be easy. And I'm going to go all the way down each side. And then when I get to this last side, I'm going to stop right here and start and stop, so there'll be a place for turning. We want about 3 fingers for turning, okay? So this is the first part. Let me try to get you over here where you can get a good view of the sewing machine. Okay. So here's a good view of the sewing machine. Remember, it's batting, then pretty side of fabric, rubber, other pretty side of fabric face down, okay? So it's like a sandwich. So the first thing I'm going to do, the batting and the rubber are pretty grippy. So I'm only going to put one pin in the middle. But before I turn this, we want to make sure we take that pin out, okay? Now, you may have noticed I have a little bit of parchment paper. It's not over the feed dogs, but it's going to help. It's going to help my, it's going to help me slide over that rubbery fabric. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is put my presser foot down. I'm going to put my needle down. I'm going to grab my threads, okay, and I've got my needle, I've got my presser foot lined up with the edge of my fabric. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and back stitch and then come all the way around. Okay, this part is pretty easy, okay? It's going through this pretty easily. Let me take another stitch. Okay, now I've got my needle down. I've picked up my presser foot and I'm pivoting my fabric. Okay, I'm back stitching at the corners because I want it to be strong. Okay, so I'm to the end again. So my needle is down. I pick up my presser foot and I pivot. And again, when I'm starting at a corner, I back stitch a little bit because I want this to be strong. Okay. So now, this is my last side. So I'm going to put my needle down. I'm going to go around. I'm just going to sew 4 or 5 stitches, back stitch, sew, back stitch. I want this to be really strong, okay? This is where I'm going to be turning my fabric, and I don't want the stitches to come out. Okay, so see where I back stitch back and forth? Now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And the only place that we are going to have left that is not sewed is the space for our 3 fingers, because that's how we're going to turn our work. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead, try to line this up, put my presser foot down. Okay. I'm going to put my needle down, my foot down, take about 4 stitches, back up 4 stitches, take 4 stitches, back up 4 stitches. Okay. All right, now, because I really want this to be strong, okay? So I have reinforced around all of my corners. And just because I want it to be super strong, I am going to go ahead and sew right on top of my bottom stitches. I'm just reinforcing. Okay, very good. All right. Okay, now I'm going to take my pin out. I'm going to clip around my corners. Remember, we sewed around all of the corners. And the reason I like to do that and put the opening for turning in the middle is because it makes your corner look nicer. This is cheap washi tape. It's not holding my, it's not doing good holding my, whatchamacallit down. Okay. All right. So let me get a pair of scissors. And I'm going to trim around the sides. Not cutting into my stitches, but leaving just a tiny little seam, tiny little bit of fabric left. Okay, now notice I did not cut here. I did not cut in the middle. I cut my edges, my corners, but I didn't cut in the middle. Okay. Now here's the tricky part, y'all. There's a couple of things you can do. First of all, if you have a Teflon foot, which is a plastic foot that should have come with your sewing machine. Let's see if I can find it. I have my Teflon foot right here. Well, I was going to show you what the Teflon foot looks like. All right, here's my tape. There's my scissors. Here, we got some clips. Okay. A Teflon foot is a little plastic foot. It's like clear plastic, and it can help you slide help your presser foot slide over materials that can be sticky, such as vinyl. This is it, y'all. This is my Teflon foot. It's white plastic. Okay, it probably came with your sewing machine. I'm going to take my regular foot off, and I'm going to put my Teflon foot on. You just line it up with the bar. Come on, Teflon foot. There we go. Did you hear that snap? And now I'm going to put the thread in the back. Okay. I wish my tape was doing better. Let me see. I got some painter's tape here. I'm going to put the painter's tape across here and see if that does a better job holding this down. Okay, it seems to. I used washi tape to begin with. So now I'm going to use just a little bit of painter's tape. I just have some parchment paper. You can use parchment paper, or you can use, what is that other paper? Tissue paper, okay? And what I'm doing is, I do not have it over my feed dogs, but I do have it up to my feed dog, and that is going to make it easier for me to sew this rubbery material. Okay. All right. So I've got my plastic down. Now I'm coming in here, and inside between the jar opening, the rubber stuff, and the cloth, okay, I'm turning this. I'm turning it. I'm going to see the rubber part. That's what's going to give you a nice grip. So you're going to be able to open jars, open bottles of water. You can make this any size that you want. You can make, I've made one that will open, small jars. You can make it bigger for bigger jars. You can make it smaller for like little bottles of water. Okay. So this is the front side, and this is my back side, or my rubber side. Okay. So, I'm going to turn this part under. Okay. Put a little clip. Okay. All right. So I've got my Teflon foot on, which is going to help it slide. Yeah. Okay. Okay. It's easier if you sew on the rubber side. Let's see. I got my Teflon foot, and I'm going to stitch all the way around. Okay, needle down, presser foot up, and I'm gonna pivot around. Okay, presser foot down, okay, let me get my little stiletto to help with the pushing. Foot down. There we go. You just got to push it a little, and that will help it get started. Okay. Needle down, pivot. Now when I'm going, I got my Teflon foot, I got my parchment paper, plus I'm giving it a little push when it starts going. Once you give it that push, it goes just fine. Although I will tell you, it can be a little tricky because it does get caught on the tape a little bit. Okay. Okay, now needle down, and I'm going to pivot, foot up, needle down, turn it around. Okay, and when you get started, you just give it just a little tiny push, and it will come right along. Also, let's see, as you sew, I want to help you. Let me do this. Okay, as you're sewing, if you kind of lift up where you've already been, and when you get started, you just take your stiletto, your little tool, and as you get started, you just push like that, and it will help you get started, okay? Let me see if I can put you back to where you can see. Okay. Okay. Now, and as I'm going, I'm kind of lifting up. Okay. Now, I'm going to go around. Okay. Let me pull this out. Okay, so I have two sizes. This is a larger one. And I made an X on this one. This is the larger size, and there's no batting, so it's thin. I kind of like the one with the batting. It's thicker. This is a smaller one. This would be great for like opening a bottle of water, something like that. So, and if you want to, you can make an X just to hold the layers together. And it is easier to sew on the rubber side. And like I said, if you take your little stiletto, it can help you get it started. Okay. I'm just going straight across. Okay. Put that down. Okay, I just drew like a I went across on a diagonal just to keep my layers together. That is optional. You do not have to do that. If you want to do that, you just start in the corner, put your needle down, and I'm just going straight across from corner to corner. Oh, this is good. I like it, y'all. I like it with the one layer of batting. To me, it just feels so much more substantial. I think it would grip easier. This is a small one, about a 4x4. This would be great to open bottles of water or maybe baby food jars. And then here's a bigger one, like a 6x6. But you can kind of see the difference in how thick they are. And I like the one with the batting. I like the one with the batting a lot. So just know that you need a little bit of tricks. This is a little tricky to sew on this rubberized part. Use your presser foot. And if you can use some type of a tool just to get it started, then that'll be great.